Welcome back, everybody, to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 20. As today we continue Season 3. Of course, we had opening day and really kicked off the season last episode. Currently, our Pirates are not starting off too badly, currently 7-5. But we're not only going to be looking at the major leagues today, it's the AA and AAA opening days as well. So we're going to be covering both minor league teams as well. A lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces on both the AA and AAA squads. So without further ado, let's get this show underway. Going to start off with the AA squad, and I don't think I've been more excited about the AA lineup than I have this year. Leading off, of course, Alexander Canario. We acquired him last year from the San Francisco Giants. And he was part of the Colin Moran trade, which I guess didn't really work out for us. Because in the game 163, Colin Moran did hit a 3-run dinger against us, and we lost by 1. But you know what? I'm still really excited about the future that Canario has in our organization. Of course, there's Mickey Moniak, Pablo Cairo, our first-round pick last year. This kid is a stud. His bat is literally major league quality today. He's fast, just needs to work on his defense and his vision. And I think he'll be MLB ready next year, but I just want to have him in AA and maybe AAA if he plays well, just so he can progress safely, not rush him up to the majors. Kiki Javere was a pretty high pick last year, a switch-hitting first baseman out of the state of Georgia, only 19 years old with B potential. I believe that B is only an 80, though. Ryan Jorgensen was one of the better players on the team last year. Miguel Mata only has D potential, but hey, he's pretty good. Israel Cuevas, a draft pick last year. This is a guy I like. Not good defensively, but has a very interesting bat. He can hit for a ton of power, good contact, but other than that, his game is pretty raw. And then the rest of the squad, there are some more interesting guys. Trey Cabbage, we acquired him last year from the Twins. Theodore Harris is another player who has good numbers, but just doesn't have really all that good of upside. We're going to have Harris play against lefties, and then Kiki Javere play against righties. Looking for rotation, the ace of the staff will be Quinn Priester. He was really good a season ago as the number 2 pitcher in the rotation behind Santiago Osuna. Now that Osuna is in AAA, Priester can be the ace. But he's not the highest rated pitcher on this squad. There is Barack Herzog, our last draft pick last season. He is a 70 overall, and he's nearing his prime and his peak already, even though he's only 18. But I think he could be a pretty good starter for this AA squad. There's also Felipe Benitez, a pretty high draft pick from last year, only 22 years old, from Puerto Rico, and then Michael Gonzalez and James Jew, 2 other players who do have upside. And then looking at the bullpen, I think this is a really good unit as well. You got guys like Bo Susler, who were very good last year. Leonard Iguchi has a potential. Joel Cesar, who has been awesome this series. And then a few new draft picks, including Patrick Waldron, a 63 overall player with B potential. We almost picked him pretty high last year, but then he sort of slipped, and we picked him late, and that ended up being a really good value pick. But the reliever who we took over him pretty early in last year's draft is another player on this AA squad, Gaylord Dixian. Yes, that is his name. That's what the game generated. Please get your chuckles out now, kids, because you're going to be hearing that name a lot these next few seasons if he can progress. So here we go, the AA opening day against the Richmond Flying Squirrels, the AA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants. Maybe this could be a little bit of revenge for last year's game 163 if the Altoona Curve win this game. I don't know, worth a shot. On the mound for the Flying Squirrels is Sean Higele, who is 6'11". Man is playing with the Ron Giants, am I right? Okay, that was a bad joke. Here we go. First batter of the game, Alexander Canario, who played for this AA team last year, rips a single. Next up, Mickey Moniak. Weak grounder to second, looks like a double play, but he bobbled it. And that'll be an infield single for Moniak. Then we would have Pablo Cairo, his first at bat in this organization, and he draws a walk, so the bases are now juiced for the cleanup hitter, Kiki Javere, who strikes out. Pretty anticlimactic play there. Now here's the catcher, Freddie Furman, with a 2-1 count and 2 outs. Nicely hit to short, but Will Wilson makes the play to second, and with no outs and having the bases loaded, the Altoona Curve do not drive in a single run. Here's Quinn Priester, a former first-round pick on the hill for the Pirates, trying to have another great season, trying to start this game off well. Here's the right fielder, Sandro Fabian, with a single into center. Canario does not go for the dive, and that'll be a base hit for the Curve. Next batter, Peter Maris rips a single into left. Pablo Cairo makes the play. Luckily, the next batter, Scott Schebler, would strike out. And then here is the following batter, Heliot Ramos, with a single into right. The runner, Fabian, will not attempt to go home, and then Luis Toribio grounds out to first. So both teams leave the bases loaded to start this game. On to the third now. Here's Pablo Cairo ripping a double into left. His first actual at-bat ends up being a base hit. So definitely the start you want to see for a potential top prospect. And he would not be driven home, but hey, that's still fun as we go to the bottom of the third. Base hit for Richmond. Next batter, however, would ground into a 3-6-3 double play. Later in the inning, the Flying Squirrels would be able to score. That's an RBI double. I don't know why these are cutting out, but okay. So now Richmond will make it 1-0. Here's Ryan Jorgensen in the fourth now. He will strike out. Freddie Furman, 1-1 count. That ball was hit nicely in the left, and it's going to drop almost exactly where Pablo Cairo's did in the last inning. That'll be a double for Freddie Furman. And now the Altoona Curve have themselves a runner on for Israel Cuevas, who gets a single into right field. Furman thought about going home, but would retreat back to third. Does not want to test the arm of Sandro Fabian. So now runners on the corners, one out for Osvaldo Duarte, who strikes out. And we go to the top of the fifth. Pablo Cairo, the Venezuelan native, will fly out. The first time he has actually gotten out. Hopefully the first of not too many times. On to the sixth now. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding that ball out of the damn stadium? Kiki Javere with the home run. And this game is now tied up at 1 apiece. Flying Squirrels going to make a pitching change. Byron Davidson into the game. He would finish the inning off strong as we go to the bottom of the sixth. Scott Schebler, the former Cincinnati Red, going to rip a single out into left. His teammate. Next up, Helio Ramos would say, what you can do, I can do better. He gets a single into left. So now 2 on, 1 out for Luis Toribio. That is a single into center this time. Schebler scores, Ramos to third. And this game is now 2-1, but we're not done quite yet. Will Wilson, the next batter, he's shopping gap in a left center field. Ramos will come home to score safely. And now the Flying Squirrels have runners at second and third with 1 out. Prime opportunity to get some more damage done. That'll bring up the catcher, Chadwick Tromp, who's going to be walked. Try to set a force out up at all bases. And the decision would work as the Curve turn the double play. 4-6-3 to end the inning, and they're lucky that only 2 come across to score. Sam Wolf now in for the Flying Squirrels as we advance to the seventh. He strikes out Osvaldo Duarte. Full count now for the pinch hitter, Trey Cabbage. Eating your greens, kids, as Cabbage draws a walk. And for Mickey Moniak's at bat, they're going to put in a lefty, Wandy Peralta, in to get the lefty-on-lefty crime, and that decision would work as Moniak flies out to center to end the inning, and we go to the bottom of the frame. Gaylord Dixien now in, going to be making his Altoona debut in this one is Brian Startup, and a potential prospect for the Giants organization, would strike out. Scott Schebler now, he's going fishing. That one would end the inning, and we advance now to the top of the eighth. Pablo Cairo going to lead things off. Rips it into left for a single. So Cairo currently 2 for 3 with a walk. So a very productive debut for Pablo. Here's Kiki Javere hitting from the right side now. And the Flying Squirrels return the double play as their infield was more chemistry than a science project. Pedro Baroa now in. Going to try to get a righty-on-righty crime. Ryan Jorgensen notably better than lefties. And now we go to the bottom of the eighth. Helio Ramos going to strike out, and you'd think Gaylord Dixien's on a little bit of a groove, or maybe not. Luis Torbillo goes deep out into right field, and the Flying Squirrels will add an insurance run. They will take a 4-1 lead. There's a nice strikeout to end the day for Dixien. 2 solid innings. Other than the home run, he did well. Matt Caracidi in for the save here in the top of the 9th as Osvaldo Duarte with 2 out. Hits that one deep in the left, and it drops. Duarte with a double, and Altoona is not done fighting quite yet. Runner in scoring position for the pinch hitter, Miguel Mata. He gets a single into left center field. Duarte will come home to score safely, and the Curve will now make it a 2-run affair. So here's Canario going to try to keep the game alive, and he will rip a single into center. So now 2 on, 2 out, potential go-ahead run at the plate, and it's Mickey Moniak, the former number 1 overall pick a few years ago, and he swings at a bad pitch, bounce to third. Toribio makes the play to second, and the Richmond Flying Squirrels will get the win. They start their season off with a 1-0 record. They win the game by a score of 4-2. Altoona did not play horribly. Javari had a home run. Pablo Cairo looked really good in his debut. Quinn Priester was solid. Gaylord Dixian was solid. So not a bad game, but you'd like to see the team play better. Richmond obviously was a little bit better. Hijeli had a nice debut, but bullpen finished the game off strong. Sound of AAA team, the Indianapolis Indians, who I think should have a pretty solid season. I think the AA lineup is more interesting, but I think the pitching is probably a little bit more exciting on this team. Leading off, of course, Lazaro Armenteros. A good contact, good power bat, but he's fast, great in the field. He's probably MLB ready, but there's just not a roster spot for him. Also, of course, Koizumi Satoshi played very well during spring training, and of course, we signed him this offseason from Japan. He looked really good in the Japanese showcase games that we scouted, so hopefully he can be a big part of this organization. Got some guys who were called up from AA last year, like the other Peguero, Sean Humber. There's Tim Beckham, another major league guy who there's just not a roster spot for him. Travis Swaggerty's a very talented player. Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets called up pretty early because the only catcher on the roster right now is Francisco Mejia, and we're going to need another guy, so expect him to not stay on AAA for too long. And then the pitching. Headlined by the number 1 prospect in the organization, our first-round pick a couple years ago, Santiago Osuna. Really solid year last season in AA. Now here he is in AAA trying to have a good season and potentially make the big league club next year. This is a really talented rotation. Adonis Medina, Domingo Robles, Brian Ayala, Wade Chun Wang. Bunch of talented players in here. And then the bullpen. Bunch of former major leaguers. A few guys who were on the big league team last year. Of course, Edgar Santana has returned to the team. He did not play baseball the past 2 years, but he's back. Going to try to get his groove back. He did not play well in spring training. I guess that's to be expected. There's also Dovydas Neverauskas, Michael Feliz, who was an all-star for the big leagues last year and then fell apart late. There's also Richard Rodriguez, who's a good player. Gordon Brito, I think, has a pretty solid future with this team. There's a lot of talent in this rotation, but I just want to see if the bats can hold up. Opening day would once again be against the Toledo Mud Hens, like it is every year, the AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers. Bunch of former major leaguers in their lineup. Victor Reyes, Brandon Dixon, Ryan Healy, Christian Stewart, Chesler Cuthbert, Duel Lugo. Bunch of major league borderline caliber players on this team, and one of their top prospects is on the hill, the lefty, Tariq Skubal. He's MLB ready. I guess the Tigers don't want to rush him, and with Casey Mize now with the big league club, they're going to have Skubal start in AAA. Here's Lazaro Armenteros, going to open up the game here with a single into center, so a quick runner on for Isaiah Kiner Falefa, who grounds that one right to third. Chesler Cuthbert, the former Kansas City Royal, makes the play. They turn the double play as we advance to the bottom of the frame. Yours truly, Santiago Osuna on the hill, coming off a nice year last season with the Altoona Curve. I believe he's the number 13 prospect in all of baseball right now. Should be higher because he has 98 potential. He strikes out Mark Vincent, and then is going to have a nice play with the glove and turn the double play. The Indians infield is more chemistry than a science project. And we go to the second. Koizumi Satoshi will strike out. Pretty underwhelming first at bat for him. Brandon Dixon now up in the bottom of the frame. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's a danier. And the Toledo Mud Hens will take a 1-0 lead. Dixon, good start to his AAA season. Here's now Christian Stewart. More blind than Helen Keller. I don't know what he was swinging at. He'll swing you at garbage, I'll tell you that. On to the third now. Full count for Travis Swaggerty. He rips a single into right center field. Swaggerty is a guy who is solid in spring training, but just needs to have another year in the minors before I feel like he's ready. Here's now the catcher, or the first baseman, who's a primary catcher, but playing first today. Luis Martinez. That's a fun name to say. 2 on, 2 out for Lazaro Armenteros. He's going to ground out to third, ending the inning. Score remains 1-0. On to the fourth now. Tim Beckham strikes out. Tariq Skubal dominant so far. On to the fourth. Victor Reyes strikes out on the outside cutter. Santiago Osuna looking great as well. On to the fifth now. Liover Peguero. He had a pretty rough season last year at AA. Still is in AAA now, and he's going to get the single. Here's Travis Swaggerty now, the next batter. Chop and gap into left center. Peguero safe to third. It's now runners on the corners, no outs. This is the opportunity that Indianapolis needs to break through in this game. 1-2 count for Christian Kelly. He strikes out. Not an ideal start. 2 gone now for Jared Makepeace. Looks like a base hit, but Cheslor Cuthbert makes the play at third, and this score remains 1-0. Speaking of Cuthbert, he gets a single here in the bottom of the fifth. Toledo going to try to extend their lead. Or maybe not. Peguero to Beckham to near Luis Martinez for the double play, and we go to the seventh. Still 1-0. Christian Kelly fouls a pitch off. But Tariq Skubal, what a day for him. Count is full now for Kelly. And that's an easy walk, but Skubal has been fooling these batters all day with the locations of these pitches. Bottom 7 now. Dixon, who had the home run earlier, the only source of runs all day, rips a single. Next, a couple batters later, that's Ryan Healy, who's going to draw a walk. 2 runners on, 1 out for Christian Stewart, who gets a single in the left. The throw from Makepeace is off the mark, and now it's 2-0. Here's Cheslor Cuthbert now. Gets that one into center. Run headed home. Throw to the cutoff man, Osuna to the plate, and he's in time. Santiago Osuna, part-time ball player, full-time sniper. He's now going to walk to Lugo, and the bases are juiced. 2 gone for Mark Vinson, who strikes out. Shaky ending for Santiago Osuna. That inning was like 35 pitches, but he got out well. On to the 8th. Look at that pitch. That absolutely fooled near Luis Martinez. Now he swings at another outside pitch, and at this point, Skubal was just getting gassed. So Joe Jimenez would enter the game, and he'd finish the inning off strong, as that ball off of the bat of Lazaro Armenteros is more high than J.R. Smith during Game 1 of the NBA Finals a couple years ago, and we moved to the bottom of the inning. Dovydas Neverauskas, the Lithuania native, is in. He gets a nice strikeout right there. And then Victor Reyes, he's just a window shopper because he's just looking. Next batter, Brendan Dixon, rips this hit, and the left fielder Jared Makepeace is on something. Cocaine is one hell of a drug, I'll just tell you that. Luckily, the runner would not score as Ryan Healy flies out to left. Makepeace actually makes the play this time, and we go to the 9th. Koizumi Satoshi, the final hope. That ball's hit nicely. Deep into right center, but not deep enough. Caught by Reyes, and the Toledo Mudhens get the win by a final score of 2-0. Tariq Skubal was dominant, and the Indians just couldn't hit. Only 5 base knocks all day. No extra base hits for the team. Santiago Osuna was pretty good up until the last inning, but it just wasn't enough. So now on to the Major League team, the Pirates, currently 8-6. Looks like we might have another tough race for this division with Milwaukee, but the Cubs are also doing well. The Cubs don't have Chris Bryant or Javier Baez anymore. They both left this offseason, so I'd be surprised to see the Cubs stay in this race. But hey, credit to them. They're starting off well. And it's a very close race for the wild card as well. But obviously, we can't be worrying about the standings. We're in the beginning of April. But for what it's worth, we're half a game behind 5 teams for both wild card spots. And the worst team currently in the NL is actually the Los Angeles Dodgers, which is pretty crazy. Maybe the additions of Trevor Williams and Kevin Newman have really hurt them. And the addition of Julio Urias has really helped us, as you'll be able to see by his numbers. But we're going to look at the hitters' numbers first. Brian Reynolds hitting a casual .352. Eduardo Escobar, he started off rough, hitting under 200. I've played well with him in-game. Opening day, I went 2 for 3, drew a pair of walks. And then the second game I played with him, we went 1 for 1 before the ball directly hit his noggin in the second inning of that game last episode against Cincinnati. But he's just not doing well in the sim so far. Josh Bell, nice start power-wise. Last year, he started off slow contact-wise. I think at this point last season, he was hitting like 220. So I wouldn't worry about his average or anything like that too much. And for those who didn't watch the spring training episode, I forgot to mention, we just extended Josh Bell to big money. 3 years, $69 million. Nice. I forgot to mention that with the spring training recap last episode, so that's my bad. Dylan Carlson, meh. Benny Lang, he started off terribly, but is actually putting up good numbers now. Bo Bichette's played poorly. Francisco Mejia's doing well, kind of solid. O'Neal Cruz has gotten off to a good start, and then looking at the rest of the bench, Gabriel Hayes, limited 8 Bs. He's done pretty well. Mitch Haniger's been solid. Michael Franco only has 1 at-bat, and then Yandy Diaz for 9 at-bats, hitting 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. That's pretty solid. The pitching has been really good so far. Jamison Tyone's been great. Julio Urias has been great. Joe Musgrove has been a little bit shaky, but we're only 3 starts into his season. Jordan Yamamoto has been pretty good. Mitch Keller has been decent. And then looking at the bullpen, Brandon Waddle's been good. And the rest of the bullpen, they're either doing really well or really bad. And for the most part, they're doing really bad. Gibbons, Fry, Clase, Rios, Vizcaino, all struggling. And then you got Ryan Presley and Ken Giles, who are absolutely dominating. But we need those middle relievers and Vizcaino to step their games up. So we got a home game here against the Milwaukee Brewers. Obviously, these two teams were competing all of last season for the division. The Brewers clinched it late. They finished 98-72. Pittsburgh obviously finished 88-75, courteous of that final 163 loss at the end of the year. Here's a look at both lineups for this one 1-9. Usual suspects there for the Pirates. A few former members of the organization, by the way. Logan Hill, JT Brubaker, playing for Milwaukee, as Mitch Keller on the hill, 1-1, 4.22 ERA. Not bad, but hey, a 1.13 whip, that's pretty good. Here's Corey Ray, a former top 5 draft pick out of Louisville. Almost gets that one over the fence, and the Brewers with a quick double to open the evening off. Definitely the start they wanted to get in this game. Both teams rocking their alternates, by the way. Ray would not be able to score there as Miguel Sano strikes out. We go to the bottom of the first. JT Brubaker starting for Milwaukee. He's been with the Pirates organization for a little bit. Was traded a couple off seasons ago, and he's going to strike out Eddie Escobar on that pitch. So now Josh Bell would walk, and that'll bring up Dylan Carlson. He will go deep in the center, and Pittsburgh will strike first. Carlson's 4th home run of the season, number 69. Nice. And now this game is 2-0. Here's the Japanese rookie, Benny Lang, who started off the season really poorly, but has played very well these past couple of games. He's going to start today's game off well with a hit. Here's Bo Bichette now. Barely gets that single to drop into center. However, Benny Lang probably shouldn't have ran to third, and he's going to be gunned down trying to go back to second. So that will end the inning. On to the second now. Nasty curveball from Mitch Keller. Omar Narvaez just has to admire that one. And then Logan Hill, who made his major league debut with the Pirates, would strike out as we go to the third. JT Brubaker going to open the inning off with a base hit. Corey Ray now going to draw a walk, so 2-1. No outs for Jorge Polanco, who's going to ground into a double play. Big pair of outs for Pittsburgh, and we go to the bottom of the inning. Josh Bell, who's already drawn 1 walk today, going to draw a second. And Dylan Carlson, who's already hit 1 home run today, will hit a second himself. And unlike his first one, that ball was no question out of the park. The first one was barely out, but this one was an absolute bomb. 429 feet. This is some deja vu, folks, and the Pirates will take a 4-0 lead. Excellent start to this one for Carlson. And here's Bo Bichette now with a runner on, going to ground into a 6-4-3 double play. Nice defense from the Brewer infield, but still, even better home run from Carlson. We go to the fourth. Miguel Sano with the strikeout. Mitch Keller really pitching well so far. Here's Keston Hiura now on the changeup. He's going to be out, and we go to the bottom of the inning. O'Neal Cruz on second. Here's Reynolds with a single and a right. Christian Yelich with the cannon. The ladies are yelling for Yelich as he guns out Cruz by a mile on that play, and we go to the fifth. JT Brubaker out of the game. In comes the pinch hitter, Tyrone Taylor. with 2 outs. He gets a single into center. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Corey Ray. He gets a single into center. So now 2 on, 2 outs. Quite the opportunity here for Jorge Polanco, who will get a weak fly out into foul territory. Escobar makes the catch, and we now go to the bottom of the inning. Pitching change, of course, now for Milwaukee. Trey Supak into the game. He has a 9.64 ERA. Yuck. Here is Benny Lane, actually leading off the bottom of the 6th. Supak would get out of the inning in the 5th. Keller would finish the 6th strong, as here's Lane with a double, his 2nd of his career, I guess. Bo Bichette now. What was that? That's been the epiphany of Bo Bichette's season so far. Here's Mejia now. Strange play on that one as the first baseman misses it. Benny Lane with more base running confusion. He just says, screw it, why not stay at second? So now 2 on, 2 outs for the pinch hitter. Michael Franco, who flies out to right. Yelich makes the play. And on to the 7th. Emmanuel Clase now in. He was very good last year. Has not started off this year well. Currently sitting at a 7.50 ERA, and spoiler alert, it would not get any better today. Lucas Erceg strikes out, so the inning's going well so far. Here's one of the pinch hitters going to rip a double. So now the Brewers got a runner in scoring position for Corey Ray, who's gotten on base every single at-bat today. This time he won't technically get on base because that's a home run. Brewers cut the lead in half, making it 4-2, but why not tie it? Couple batters later, Christian Yelich gets that one off the foul pole for a 2-run shot, and this game is now knotted up at 4. Disastrous 7th inning for Emmanuel Clase as we go to the bottom of the inning. Jake Faria in for the Brew Crew. 2-2 count for Brian Reynolds. Going to strike out on the outside splitter. Nasty pitch. And we go to the 8th. Aurelius Vizcaino in. He has also not started the year off well, currently with a 10.13 ERA. And this inning would not start off well, as there is a nice little double for Milwaukee. So with 2 outs, they got a runner on, but it doesn't matter as Logan Hill strikes out, and he's not happy about it. J.P. Thierson now in for the bottom of the 8th, as here is the rookie, Benny Lang. This is his time to shine. Lang with the deep shot into right center field. That ball is out of here, his 3rd of the year, and now it is 5-4. Here is Bichette. He's going to strike out. We go to the 9th. Ken Giles in now for the save. He's been pretty much perfect this year as he strikes out that batter right there. Next batter, Corey Ray. He's been awesome today, but he strikes out. And then Jorge Polanco going to finish off the game going down looking. 1-2-3 inning for Giles, and the Pirates get the win by a score of 5-4. Shaky 7th inning from Emmanuel Clase, but you know what? A win's a win. 2 home runs early for Dylan Carlson. Benny Ling was great. He is starting to play a lot better after a very slow start. Brubaker was not great, but bullpen for the most part was good for Milwaukee. Meanwhile, for the Pirates, Benny Ling with 3 hits. Carlson drives in 4 runs, 2 walks for Bell. He scored twice in this one. As Mitch Keller was awesome. 6 scoreless innings. He was really good. And if he can pitch like this consistently, then we've got a future stud on our hands. He just has to get consistent. Bet on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like button and subscribe. And as always, have a good one. Peace.